Travis Wayne Goodsell. If you're wondering why I'm doing flashbacks this evening, it's because I got through watching season 3 of Cobra Kai. Netflix picked it up from YouTube, and so I had to buy a Netflix subscription. So yeah, I've got to watch it, and of course brings back a lot of memories, not just from the movies, but the music and the hairstyles and all that from the 80s. Yeah. So this video and reminiscing is on my first year at Rick's. This was after I graduated from high school in 1989, actually 1988 to 89. I graduated in 88 and then took off immediately in the summer semesters to get to Rick's. It was my first opportunity to escape from my parents. And that first year I was in Ensign Hall. Last I checked, they still have Ensign Hall, but I think they renamed them. I can't remember. The two of them were renamed, and I think the bunkhouse that I went to after my mission, that's gone. But anyway, I spent the first summer trying to figure out a career field to get into. I took those career aptitude tests in grade school, and then went through high school, and never really figured out what I wanted to do with my life. The career aptitudes in the lower grades, 6th grade, I guess, because they were trying to prepare us for 7th through our junior high and high school, because there you get to pick courses and electives that you can tailor to your career field that you want to get into. And the career aptitude test came back and said there's nothing. They were all on the lower end of the spectrum. All. And of course it had to do with the manner in which I answered the questions. All I had to do was put in different answers and I could get different results, but those were the answers that I knew to give, and it said I was good for nothing. And so yeah, that lowered my motivation. If you remember the video I did talking about Mrs. Fiskin in 5th grade, who gave me my first F after working on the Idaho report for a whole month, and just an F. The only assignment I was interested in, wanted to do, and spent the time doing, and I got an F for all that work. And so the electives were all art. And when art was not available, I remember taking a foods class in junior high, an office aide, and auto shop in high school. I think weight training. So yeah, I wasn't really motivated to take AP electives. And so I go into Rick's, and it's my escape from my parents. It was the way I knew to escape, other than going to the streets to die. And they, of course, paid for it. I didn't think about saving money for school. None of that. I bought cassette tapes, and so when Metallica came out with Master of Puppets, right before the April 1986 General Conference, where Benson said not to listen to that music to the youth of the noble birthright, and that pregnancy is a pernicious sin. And so, yeah, I did make an effort my first summer semester at Rick's. I loaded myself up with as many classes as could fit in my day. I had an architecture class, I remember. I think I remember getting into an English literature class, which met the requirements for graduation. I took an interior design and ended up being the only guy in the full classroom. There was one other guy that had enrolled, but he never showed the class. And the teacher made a point of pointing me out as I stuck out, even though I was trying to hide in the back of the class, as my height is such that everybody sees me. But yeah, I nonetheless didn't get any friendship offers or women who wanted to talk with me, get to know me better. So, as much as the teacher was thinking I was the luckiest guy in the universe, didn't turn out the way she thought it was going to. But in regards to going on the dates, Rick's set up the system to provide all the opportunities for dates. You can spend every single day and night doing something with somebody. And so I had dreams of setting up a date schedule at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And that failed, so my dreams were dashed on that. But since I had not gone on a mission, and being Mormon and at a Mormon school, Rick's College, I refused to call it BYU Idaho. As far as I know, the school has been torn down. They even tore down my lighthouse. That lighthouse in the inner courtroom, or the inner courtyard, right outside of the Manwaring Center, there was a specific type of light pole, and it's been replaced. If it's not down altogether, I have to go back and check the Google Maps again. But that light pole had significant emotional attachment meaning for me. One night, as I'll get into, but yeah, I had my drawing journal, as the light pole became one of the pictures in that journal. That all my stuff, all art and stuff, got thrown away by my dad. The pictures that are in the beginning of this video were what my mom salvaged before my dad threw it all away. there was a lot of stuff to throw away, so it took my dad a number of days to throw it out. At first, he packed it all up and then throw it out when they thought I was indefinitely detained for the rest of my life. Thanks to the LDS Church and with the help of my parents lying. But that's why I wanted to escape. And so I overwhelmed myself with classes as I'd been living a high school life of art electives, not really exerting myself. And so I decided to cut out a lot of the classes. So architecture got taken out, which was kind of a bummer because I was excited to do a diorama of a blueprint that I was going to design. He informed us that was going to be the project for the class. With all of that helped me realize that was going to be too much work with everything else I was doing, and so I cut that one out. And then I also realized computers were now starting to take hold, and I realized that I failed computers in high school, which the driver's ed class bailed me out to make it a C for the year. I couldn't do DOS, and Windows, I don't know if Windows had been invented yet. I don't think so. So I didn't want to do anything with DOS in regards to architecture design. And that was also another reason why I dropped architectural design, is that even though I was into drawing and had drawn a house, I think my mom has kept that. I took it away from her, but she may have recovered it. I don't know. But I also taken an astronomy class. The teacher knew my grandparents who lived there in Rexburg. So that was a little frustrating. Or actually, it was the weather class. The astronomy class was a different one. The weather class is the guy who knew my grandparents. And so when I was out in the deep snow during a snowstorm to do my assigned day for reporting the weather to the local news channel, oh my goodness. I don't even know if we got it to work, because we were supposed to go out in the cold to the weather station, record the measurements, then go into the man-wearing center at the phone at the lobby desk and call in to a number and record on the machine the measurements. And I don't know if it worked. But that was part of our assignment. I also, after realizing in the summertime that getting into career fields was not going to be an option, I just wasn't finding anything still, and didn't realize that ancient languages was what I was good at, but they weren't available, and so I didn't know that would be a career field to go into, as I had to make it a career field. That's been my life. If nobody else has done it and I want to get it, I have to do it myself, make the books for me to read and research if nobody else has done it. And so the art classes, languages, I was good at languages. In high school, I even tried to create a code language, and so yeah, I would have been a perfect candidate had anybody else had it as a career field. My dad discouraged me from going into archaeology, which is what Indiana Jones was, and tried to tell me that archaeology is not as exciting as it is for Indiana Jones, and okay, well then I won't go into that career field, but I still want to go hunting for the ancient world. But yeah, not available at Rick's. So I took sports that first and second semesters. Just packed it with sports. Tennis, skiing, basketball, tennis, and of course my parents are paying for everything, so guess what? Yeah, I'm taking these classes, I'm going to need this stuff, send me this amount of money to put into my bank account so that I can get them. And so they did. My tennis racket got stolen. I'm not sure if I finished the class. I think I finished the class, and then it got stolen. But yeah, you can't trust Mormons. Your possessions get slippery. Mormons know what I'm referring to there from the Book of Mormon. And so that was a discouraging thing to realize at Rick's, is that even in my own dorm, I realized in retrospect, after I came home and was looking for things that couldn't find them. My harmonica, for example, that my grandpa gave me, my mom's father, had stolen. So yeah, there's a lot of kleptos in the church, which you'd think that religious folk would not be inclined to steal, but when you have a church that causes the division between rich and poor, such is the case. And so I ate in the Manwaring Center, had the lunch pass to go there, as Ensign Hall didn't have the cafeteria. What that is for is the school dorms are for having the cafeteria, although there are the kitchen dorms that the girls have available to them. They can either get the non-kitchen or the kitchen dorms, but for guys it's all just non-kitchen. I guess they don't trust guys to cook. But the second semester, my cousin Michael Bowen joined me. We shared a room there in Ensign Hall on the third floor. Toby, he found me on LinkedIn, and so we're LinkedIn buddies. But he hasn't contacted me. He reached out to get my opinion on a presentation for his career field, and I guess I didn't give the response that he was looking for, and hasn't communicated since. It could also be that I was starting to do posts from my website that were against the church, but no. yeah, Toby and I spent a lot of time that first semester hanging out and doing stuff until he got his girlfriend. He had brought me along to a group of other Mormons that were gathering at a girls' dorm to do a seance. And so I didn't want to participate, so I hung out on the top bunk of one of the girls as I watched and was getting kind of bored, and there I am lying on the bed, so yeah, it automatically triggers sleepiness. And yeah, the seance broke up when they started to freak out. Get this taken care of here first. But yeah, they all started thinking like they were getting cold, and Toby thought he was in a tunnel, and I remember drawing the tunnel in my picture journal, and it was like a tunnel of light, but there were dark spirits flying around the tunnel as he was going through it, and he thought he was going to hell. And one of the other guys showed that he now had an inverted pentagram on his palm. That was kind of cool. I don't know how he pulled that one off. I witnessed that one. But yeah, it freaked everybody out. And when the guys got back, they talked to the dorm father. It's a married couple in charge of the whole hall and the whole apartment, and I told him about it, and he called everybody stupid for doing such a stupid thing, and then gave blessings to the guys who were traumatized. Toby would also take me on adventures where we would imagine ourselves as we went around town, but involved in a fictional reality, and so that's why I go after you guys for believing the lies of the church as you drift into a different reality, and that the same situation is for Trump loyalists. They're living in a completely different reality, and so that's why I'm trying to warn you guys, is you can't live like that. You know, for me, I'm able to distinguish between the two realities: the fictional realm that we're playing versus the real one where I gotta live. But yeah, it helped for my creative writing mind, so that was good for that. But yeah, once he started getting his girlfriend, they were always hanging out together, and so it was good then that Michael joined the picture until he got himself a girlfriend, and then he and Toby started partnering up with double dates, and so I became the fifth wheel because I didn't get the girl, obviously, but I did manage to get a date with Michael and his girlfriend, to go to his sister's neighbor. she married a Niebuhr, who's a descendant of the Niebuhr that Joseph Smith learned German and more Hebrew from, who joined the church in the 40s, I think it was in the 40s. And that's why some people say that his King Follett Discourse was influenced by his relationship with that Niebuhr guy. They have a hot springs out by the Wyoming border there in Idaho, and because it's Michael's sister, we were able to get in for free and get a meal and go swimming and then watch a movie in their house there in the backyard area. They've since built a home, a real permanent home, replacing the other one that we were staying in. So if you go onto Google Maps and you find it, the home that's there now was not the one we were a part of. And so it's a little awkward as a Mormon, not having gone on a mission, and therefore knowing that any girl that I do date and like is I don't need you I'm done for the night, is only going to write you a Dear John letter if you do start seriously dating and become boyfriend and girlfriend, and then go on your mission, as she'll quickly turn her heart to another guy that's there to comfort you while you're away. It kind of makes you wonder, why would I trust a woman like that anyway if she's just going to leave me? I can't hang around for just 2 years. Because, So yeah, I was already well aware of the Dear Johns, because I'm involved with other girls, women there, associating with them on a regular basis. And so I hear a lot of girls talking about the Dear Johns they've sent. I think there's even a Dear John wall that girls can post their Dear John letters, or elders can when they come back, or whatever it was. And so I knew that it was going to be in vain to get serious with somebody. But having grown up liking girls and wanting to hang around girls rather than guys, it becomes difficult at Rick's, because the girls that are there, they're there for their MRS degree, to breed them young. Not at Rick's. It's not Brigham Young University. It's Rick's. Yeah, a lot of the girls who go there for the first semester, a high percentage, get married off to the newly returned missionaries. And when I got back, I found out that, I was peer pressured by the fellow guys in the bunkhouse that I was staying in after, that I had to endure and not get engaged before 1 year after my mission. That I had to stay strong. When you're in a particular cultural group, the traditions with the fashion and the hairstyles of that particular culture become an attractant for the guys in that culture, and so yeah, for Mormon guys, Mormon girls are hotties, as much as the world looks back and go, man, they're plain Janes. It's not their culture, so they're used to understanding hotties as something different, and I understood that in early grade school and into high school, as guys would openly tell me to my displeasure about their type. And back in my day, it was physical appearance. I've since learned that it's a fetish rather than a physical appearance. But in Mormon culture here in Utah, they call it a type. And I didn't understand the lingo when I first got here, as women were telling me I'm not their type. I thought it had something to do with divorced or poor, or something like that, as not their type. But no, it was referring to physical appearance or their fetish, what they wanted that sexually appeased them. And so, yeah, very complicated when you create new terms for specific fields and groups and cultures, trying to understand the lingo franca. And so if you have watched some of my other videos, my type is, of course, the little redheaded girl from the Charlie Brown and Snoopy shows, all those movies and TV specials. Little redheaded girl. There's lots of other little redheads in entertainment that also added. And then I had the Fisher Price people to play with as a kid, and they had one auburn-haired girl, and she was my favorite. And then there was a Pippi Longstocking girl, and I ripped off the pigtails on her. And so she was more of a bowl cut instead. And so, yeah, the auburn became my favorite as a result. But I never had to ask someone for a date to the big dances of the week. I always had somebody asking me out, except for the first one. And the only person I put a name to was Candace, and apparently I don't have the one girl I wrote poems about. She apparently did not survive the trash dump of my father. Yeah, I submitted poems to their poetry contests that they would hold. Never win. Yeah, I was big in poetry, and for her I'd write poetry. And the reason why I hung out with her and others at her dorm is because that's what I would do. I'd have lots of time on my hand because I had no homework. I only have sports classes. So much of my time was spent over at the girls' dorms, and that's how I became acquainted with a number of women as a result, and they became acquainted with me. Plus, the guys in my dorm floor were wise enough to realize that, hey, the girls' dorms have volleyball courts. Let's get a group of guys together and we'll go practice playing volleyball over at the girls' dorms. And so, yeah, we would do that, and hoping that we could obviously get women's attention. Got the attention for a few girls, but the majority did not fall for it. That don't impress me much. They're them much. Shania Twain. But nonetheless, we still got good enough as a group practicing regularly to try out for the club team. They didn't have a school team; they had a club team, and the club team involved others who were making it competitive. And so when the school brought in a guy to see if he wanted to coach an actual team, he turned it down because he said that we weren't working together as a team. We were all in it for ourselves. And so our group from our dorm floor realized this as well, that trying to get these other guys to work as one was just not working, whereas we had been working as one. And so we left, and they held an intramural volleyball tournament, and we signed up as a team for that and swept. Yep, we beat the club team with the remaining members, as well as the top-ranked poly team, and yeah, we just swept. The club team was no contest. The poly team was our toughest challenge, but we still won it, and we got T-shirts. Mine was too small. But oh well. And so I guess we'll just go through the list of girls, and if anything else comes to mind, I'll bring it up. So the first woman, I was her home teacher. That's how I knew about her. And even though previously in Southern California with my dad, I had already known about the policy of not dating those you home teach, trying to keep some kind of distance to distinguish between religious and personal. I just wanted to go to the dance. It's the first one, and I liked her. You know, Mormon women are good girls for the most part, except the first one who became my ex-wife. But yeah, there's I'd have to explain Beth from kindergarten in order to explain why Mormon girls catch my interest. And it's because of the abuse that the church puts on women. And because of this, women have Mormon girls have a nature about them that attracts me to them. Beth was sexually assaulted in front of me as a kindergartner. And so that abuse that I witnessed and was helpless to do anything about got my first interest in wanting to be and hang out with girls rather than guys. That's why I wear pink, is for that. And so yes, in Mormon women, I do see the abuse that they've experienced. Even they may not know it, because sometimes you experience Stockholm Syndrome. You fall in love with the prophets of the church who are giving orders that result in Mormons abusing you. Like my parents abusing me. And so, for me, I saw the nature of Mormon girls in that light, and wanted to be there for them, trying to make up for the kindergarten experience. And so, yeah, this first woman, I really liked her, and she did seem to like me too. I didn't know how to handle that. I have not had that in my life. This was the first time that I actually experienced, well, there's a couple of situations in high school. I'd have to go over a different video for that one. We're already at 42 minutes here. And so I'm likely to finish this video and post it tomorrow morning. Yeah, I did identify that she actually liked me. And there's a thing in Mormon culture that when you ask a girl on a date, everybody thinks you're getting married. They all put in their bets as to how long it's going to take before the guy proposes. And the same case was with her. And I don't know. I don't know what happened. If I just stopped doing home teaching, or I got scared off because, again, I don't want a Dear John letter. If I were to go on my mission, I just assumed I was going, but I didn't do what was necessary to prepare for a mission. I just went through the motions as a Mormon kid. But really liked her. She was a cutie. And a good heart. Then the next one, the rest of them, they all asked me. The first one here, the sweater. I bought these sweaters specifically for these dances. The first two are sweaters that I had bought. And it just so happened the blue matched her dress. So that was kind of cool. Man, I miss her. Alright, so the next one, no matching. But she really liked me. She had a big crush on me, and I could tell that. And so it kind of made it awkward for me. I'm not used to girls with crushes on me, and so I don't really know what to do. I had to ask my sister, who's younger than me. Everybody's younger than me. I'm the oldest in the family. When I wanted to date Cynthia Pollard in high school to go to the prom, as I knew I had to go to the prom out of peer pressure. My parents thought I was gay. And so there was a lot of pressure for me to find a date. The two Mormon girls were already taken. Yeah, so I had to ask my sister, what do I do? Have you taking her on a date? Yeah, so you're not taught in the Mormon church as to what to do. I mean, there was, I think, at my age, that we were not allowed to group date until we were 16. Or we were not allowed to single date. We had to group date until we were 16. That's why you'll see the group pictures. There's a couple of them that I see here. Yeah, I think this. No, I don't think she was the. No, she wasn't the one. I don't think. Yeah, the girl I took to the hot springs is not in here. And so either she got thrown away also, or she didn't get to a dance with me. Yeah, she was a fun. The one in the mauve dress. She was fun. Liked her. Not as much as the first one that I chose. But I liked her. And then this next one in the black dress, yeah, she was really elegant. That's the best way to describe her. The dress she chose was a perfect personality match for her. Elegant. And so, yeah, I'm wearing a suit in this one. This is a more formal situation, though the previous formal, there's somewhat formals in these others, but I was doing sweaters. But for this one, I dressed up in a suit and bought a black dress suit or dress shirt for the occasion. And good evening on that one. The next one, she was fun. I liked her. She was a very outgoing, fun personality, and that made her enjoyable. I can see that I am kind of ripped. You may not recognize it if you don't understand how tall I am. The taller you are, and the more ripped and defined you are, they're spread out, whereas smaller guys, they're more compact. So yes, I didn't always have a belly. That was given to me by my indefinite incarceration, thanks to the church. But yeah, Mormon girls are cuties. They just are brainwashed. It causes problems in relationships. And then this other one, where we went on our first double date, I'm thinking they were roommates, and since the other girl had a boyfriend, and so he's obviously a returned missionary, and so the two of them most likely got married, and so her roommate had to find somebody and chose me. She was a lot of fun. I did like her too. It's kind of small, but very cute. Very fun, outgoing, happy personality too. Alright, and then there's a situation in singles communities in Mormondom where when a girl wants to hook up with a guy, date a guy, go out with a guy to a dance and whatever, she marks her territory by telling her girlfriends and others around her. And after the first batch, there started to be women who were not my type. It's not a mean thing on my part. It's just, like I said, little redheaded girl. And the other women are good, fun. I would have loved to have married any one of those other girls. But then there started to be girls who were what Mormons call sweet spirits. Other guys, yeah, I've seen other guys who have types that are different than mine. I've had that my whole life. Growing up in Southern California, the boys would tell me their type, the Barbie doll type, big breasts, and a certain measurements, and I'm like, how do you know measurements? Little did I know that Playboy had the measurements of the centerfold. That's where they were learning this from. But yeah, the guys, blonde hair, and the Barbie doll types, and for me, I didn't want to say redheads. First of all, I don't want to share my personal type with other guys, let alone anybody. But yeah, the other women, good women, fun time, just not my type. And because they weren't my type, I started recognizing a pattern as not my type after not my type was getting me down. And I was feeling more and more isolated and lonely as a result of it. And again, this first one, Morp 88, the hard rock girl was more my type. But of course, she's the roommate who had the returned missionary boyfriend, and the roommate needed somebody to go with as well. But yeah, fun times. One guy said my dancing style was like Jane Fonda. Okay. And yep. I think did she make the shirts for us? Can't remember. Because I'm pretty sure she gave me the shirt to wear, and I'm noticing some green thing, but I can't remember what it is. But yeah, I think she gave me the shirt to wear so that we can match on that one. And then this next one, again, this was a situation where she told everybody else in the whole dorm, the whole women's dorm, that she wanted to date me, and it sucks for the guy. Let's be honest, girls. It sucks for us, because when a woman who is not our type, she may be a good girl, sweet spirit, and all that, but she's just not our type. And when she tells the rest of the girls, back off, he's mine. And of course they don't say it that way. They just say, oh, I'm thinking about asking Travis. And then the other girls say, oh, okay, Travis is off limits, I'll stay away, you can have him. And so if I were to go and talk to another girl, not anything about a dance, not asking them out, I don't ask. Everybody was coming to me. Those girls already know, no, stay away, get lost, have no interest in you. And so that adds to the my loneliness situation that's going on now, is that women are telling other women to back off. They want to date me, take me to this dance. And that led to my isolation from the women in the dorms. And it ruined the evening at times, didn't make it as fun as it was in the beginning. But it's just an unfortunate consequence of the Mormon culture. And so with this last one, before I get to Trisha and the little redheaded girl, I was actually told by the other girls, yeah, this one girl wants to take you out to this dance. And they were trying to convince me to say yes to her. And so that was like, yeah, I didn't want to be there anymore. And it ruined my experience at Rick's because of that. When I'm being forced to accept going to the dance with the one girl who already marked her territory, or be lonely and not be involved in the socializing activities. And so it ruined my Rick's College experience. However, there was Trisha Wingate. I think she thought that I wanted to be her boyfriend. She was just cool. She was the one person I could hang out with and not have to stress about sexuality or boyfriend, girlfriend, and any of that. She did, as you see, ask me to a dance, and I was in seventh heaven. Pulled me out of my funk. Beautiful woman, great personality. We had the best of times just hanging out in her apartment. And then she tried to get rid of me. And when, as a guy, knowing that I don't want to be her boyfriend because I don't want to Dear John, to have her think that she has to get rid of me, that hurt. She tried to bring along the little redheaded girl, which was awesome. I'll get to her after Trisha. For example, she calls me up because we have phones in our apartments, in our rooms, and in the middle of the night wakes me up and says, "Hey, we're the little redheaded girl and I are going for a walk on the railroad tracks. Want to come?" Yeah. Complete blizzard that evening. It was awesome. And so, yeah, I came home, icicles stuck to my hair. It was awesome. And got in the showers and had to wash off the ice. But yeah, we went for a walk, just the three of us, out on the railroad tracks there in Rexburg. And that was the best experience I had there. There were others, like hanging out the window of the old building at the front of the school that burned down. Kind of pissed off that they ruined my historical landmark there too, not just with the lighthouse getting demolished and replaced. Not the lighthouse, the light pole, but also that, is it Sporey building? Yeah, it burned down, and so all my memories of that are gone. Well, not the memories, but you know, she one day near the end of the school year, I had not gone to a bishop to apply for a mission. Again, I wasn't thinking about going on a mission. I wasn't thinking about the next stage of my life. I was just going to stay at Rick's away from my parents. And Trisha, one night, I went over to hang out again, and she immediately took me to go see her bishop. And I'm going, we don't even kiss. Why am I going to see the bishop? What did I do wrong? What am I in trouble for? But yeah, she had me go see the bishop to fill out mission papers. And I went, oh, okay. And so yeah, I went and filled out the mission papers, and then got New York, New York was the mission. But yeah, she was trying to dump me off, trying to let me go, and it hurt because I just wanted a friend, and she had been that friend. And then she called me up one night to lie to me. Come on and lie to me, come on and lie with me, no man the only one. But she said that she was going up onto the hillside on the where the temple now is, so that she was going to meet her friends. I thought I was her friend, but yeah, that's part of her tactic of dumping me off, was to verbally abuse me. Her smoker friends. And so now she was trying to say that she smokes, hoping that I would be disgusted as a Mormon. Oh, how could you smoke? That's horrible. I'm never talking to you again. I'm shunning you. No, I don't do that. I was like, huh? Friends? Smoker friends? Are you dumping me? But we aren't together. And I was confused. I didn't understand what she was doing at that time. And that's what she was doing, was she was trying to get rid of me. And that hurt. So I lost both the little red-headed girl and her because of it. And so, yes, the little red-haired girl. The woman literally of my dreams from childhood. And there she was at Rick's before my mission, when I'm not looking for a wife. She was very shy. And when she spoke, she whispered. It was so awesome. And very loving, adorable, perfect. Well, but it was just the wrong time. You know, if it had been after my mission, oh, hell yeah. Asking her to marry me on the first day I meet her. Which probably would have scared her, and then I would have lost that opportunity. Although, who knows? Mormon women are weird in that way. But, yep. I was on seventh heaven that night. Literally, my head was in the clouds, as you can see the stars in the background. Yep. And it was awkward getting that close to each other, holding hands. She made me so nervous. So, yep, and she was wearing pink. And I got a pink corsage. Yep. Yeah, I was the luckiest guy in the world at that night. And Trisha tried to pawn me off onto her. But again, I'm not looking for a relationship with anybody. And so, yeah, if a little redheaded girl wants to hang out with Trisha and I, great. But I think she thought that I wanted her rather than the little redheaded girl. So, yeah, lack of communication destroys relationships. But, there you have it. There's my first year at Rick's, as we're over an hour on this. So I'm going to go cry myself to sleep.